Hey everyone, Scott Strode here, BlueChips Global, and welcome back. Been a while since I've been on here, but I thought it was only right that first chance I get to come on here and um, tie up some loose ends, talk about some things that we've had going on, and just kind of do a general overview where we're at with a lot of different things that we've got going on, and a lot of different things that's been going on. So first and foremost, if everybody is well aware of the Hoop Summit that we had August 2nd, Sunday, August 2nd. Um, Huge success in many ways. Numbers wise, probably I'm assuming the biggest event that we've ever had in West Virginia as far as recruiting events. Certainly the biggest one day event, anywhere. A lot of people had to pitch in to make that event so successful. And it seems like when you have those types of events, no matter how many people you bring in to help with things, you're always a couple short, and that's the way it always seems. And it seemed to me. But every time you have something like that, every time I've had those, that's the third one I've had with under Blue Chips, and it's grown so much, every time I've had it. I think the first year we had 68 players. The second year it sold out at last year sold out at 100. This year, we broke it into two sessions and sold it out at 180. Um, so it's just hard to plan when you don't, we make it harder on ourselves because we didn't cap the number at a hard number like we had planned. And I take the blame for that because I can't tell a kid no. We sold out twice, and I knew there would be some kids drop out, so I took some extra kids to take those places. I just, when it comes down to it, I had somebody mention, say the word money grab to me. Why? The perception out there, not that wasn't an accusation, but the perception out there might be money grab because we added the extra people. Well, anybody that knows me, I'm a spreadsheet guy. I run numbers on stuff like this constantly. There was a point of no return, and that means, that number was 80. Once we got over that, we, it's really not worth having because you've got to add extra staff. You got to add so much extra staff, extra time. The cost associated with adding those extra people, um, dollars and cents wise, doesn't make any sense. But it eased that burden of guilt on my on my heart that I didn't turn anybody away. So that's the reason why. Did it detract a little bit from the quality of event? It probably did. Transitioning in and out of stations and between games. Um, but it is what it is. We still accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. Um, and that was the main focus of this, was to get as exposure for as many kids as possible. So there's two schools of thought on that. Are you the more kids we have there, the more kids were we going to um, get exposure to? Yes, in some ways, yes. Um, you know, if you drill it down to 80 players, let's just say 80 players, the college coaches will have an easier time really doing I guess, a more in-depth evaluation on more kids. However, here's the flip side of that: the more kids you have in the gym, the more names we have on our mailing list, the more names we have to send out with all of those coaches. And all of those coaches that were there have the entire contact list for every kid there. So that in turn leads to more opportunities for them via campus visits, via invites for camps and things like that, which I've had a lot of parents reach out and thank me because they said they virtually got a camp invite from every coach that's there. And that's part of it. That's part of why we have that. And that's twofold. Number one, that gets the kid that opportunity. And number two, that that helps the coaches that support those events for me. That helps them get kids on campus, get kids in their gym, get kids evaluated in person. So it helps both sides. So there is, when I take those extra kids, there is a little bit of method to the madness of that. Um, it's certainly not, a little last minute money grab. I knew the hurdles it would present, by adding those extra guys, and at a certain level, I kind of knew better. But again, my heartstrings get pulled a little bit, pretty easily when it comes to kids. Because I know putting myself in that position when I was a kid, I would have wanted to be in that event. And I know there were some kids left out. So I try to get as many kids in as possible. And the same thing with the camp invites, like that, just there's 20 extra kids that are going to get camp invites somewhere. And out of that, there's going to be a few of those kids that's going to get an opportunity from it. So in the end, yes, it is worth it. Absolutely 1000% worth it, because we put in the extra effort to have those kids there. And there's a percentage of those kids that will benefit from that. And like I said, and the college coaches will benefit from that. I've said many times, and you won't hear a lot of people say this, but the people I put those on for aren't just the kids. Those college coaches are a big reason why I put these events on. It's to benefit them as much as anybody, because here's the real deal, folks. If we don't have that support from the college coaches, we don't have these events. These events mean nothing. That then they do turn into money grabs. I'm willing to bet at least 80%, probably closer to 90, of the people that were there had never been in a gym with that many college coaches at one time. Have you been to an event where there's that many college coaches in the building or in attendance? Yes. Several of you have. Have you ever been where they've been on 3 courts and you're one of the players that plays on those 3 courts? I'm betting 90 of you are a definite no, maybe even more. 90 out of the 100 in the 27s, 28s. And that percentage is probably closer to 95% in the younger division. So, that, like I said, there's always a method to my madness, why I do things the way I do. I'm those of you that know me, I'm not driven by the money in this. The growth means more than anything. The exposure, all of that, will snowball and will help everybody in the end. And I'm very sincere about that. Like I said, we have some things that we can improve on now that we know, like, this is the max you can do. We've hit the cap, we've hit the ceiling numbers wise. We realized having those 2 sessions back to back were not a good idea. That's something that needs split up into 2 days, and then we can maximize it. We could even maximize it to the point of having the older guys, for instance, next year it'd be the 28s, 29s would be the older session. And we can even maximize it to where it's, maybe we just have a 28 session by themselves, which the numbers look like they're going to support that. So there will be a rearrangement, where we will we will kind of restructure how we're doing that because of the growth. And so that's a good thing, to have that growth and have to rethink, how you have this event structured, because of, the massive um, support. So that's a great thing. I can't say enough about the guys that were in there helping me. My partner Isaiah Francis is just, I can't say enough good. He has just killed this thing. I mean, from day one, and I haven't got to get on here and talk a lot about him. Um, but golly, a lot of you know him from his days, playing days, his college days. A lot of you coaches know him, because you recruited him. Um, he's just been, I mean, just everything that I wanted, in a partner in this. He's been that. He's that younger voice. He's that voice of experience, that voice of been there, done that. Um, he's been through every process imaginable as a high school player, as a college player, and he has so many angles to reflect on, so much perspective. It's just totally invaluable. It's just totally invaluable. The amount of perspective and knowledge and experience that he has in this space. It's just, it's so great. He's just done an outstanding job and will continue to. Um, Also, Danny Zuchak, Danny, who's the assistant at Westminster, and Danny, let's see, will be having his event in Florida this week. Danny is also the owner of Outwork Showcases and Outwork Travel and AAU basketball up in the Cleveland area. And again, another guy that just a total, um, just a resource of, again, he's ran so many of these events. Um, he does three, four, five of them a year. He has so much more experience than I do. He has so many good ideas. He was every time I would kind of freak out about things going wrong. He was always the guy there to say, "Listen, it'll be fine. It'll get taken care of, and we'll be good." So, and again, to have that level of experience and perspective, and a guy that's been there, done that so many times. I can't say enough about Danny. Danny's just been, since the first time that he and I made contact. He was an assistant at Bethany, and I've always respected him for this because he never acted like a guy that knew it all. He reached out for help, and the help that I give him as far as player wise, referrals on players, he took very seriously, and he respected that, and we've had such a good relationship since then, and that's turned into a business relationship, partnership, and there's probably some things that we're going to do together, aside from the Hoop Summit in the future. So I would, unless something changes with him and he goes nuts and gets married and moves away somewhere, which could happen, I guess, at any day. He's going to be a part of the Blue Chips family for quite a while. So, thanks to those guys. Mr. Francis, Isaiah's dad, come in. First time I've ever met him, he come in, introduced himself, and he just jumped in there like he's participated and helped run one of these events for 100 years, and they helped him and Marcus Fleming just absolutely work their tails off. They really, really were a big part of the success of this. They were the ones that kept the ship from sinking from the word go, because they did all of the jersey handouts. They did all of the player registration, and it was just not all the player registration, but the player check-in. Got all the jerseys handed out. Those of you that come through there, the line there were, you know how daunting of a task that was for them, with that many kids and 2 sessions back to back. We've gotten a little bit better over the years kind of streamlining that process. But there's just no easy way to do it. If there was, outside of mailing everybody a shirt ahead of time, I don't know what it is, but we'll get a little bit better next year at it, a little bit faster, and we'll go from there. But otherwise, I give those guys big props for jumping in there, and people you can trust and people that you can just they didn't have to call me over every 10 minutes and ask me a question, ask for guidance. They just gripped it and ripped it and did such a good job. Also, Damon Fleming, one of the rising middle school players in the North Central West Virginia. Damon was a big part of our success as well. He ran the clock for us, helped with player check-in, did anything we needed him to do. He just jumped in there. And again, for a kid that age, 13, 14 years old, to jump in there, he needed very little guidance. He just got it done. And love the kid. He's done such a good job, and every time we have an event, we're going to make sure Damon's a part of our team, him and his dad, Marcus. So Ronnie Newsom and Ronnie, and I kind of laugh about this because every time I have this event, I always intend on having Ronnie as my guy that's going to evaluate every player. A guy that can sit in a chair on the baseline and evaluate every kid in depth. And every time I end up having him work the event, and I can't thank him enough because he's a great friend, a great partner, and a lot of the things that I do. Aside from my youngest son playing AAU travel ball with him, he's just been a good partner to have in this. And of course, he's our fall program and post-grad program that that we're actually just rolling out today. He's the guy that leads that, coaches that, does all the training sessions, practice sessions. He's just a great guy to have around. I mean, he really did, because he could do anything. So again, thanks, Coach Newsom. He's just a guy that I feel like we use him and abuse him sometimes, but he's always willing to do whatever it is he can to help kids in West Virginia. He has a big heart for the same as I do, and that's probably why we get along so well and do so many things together. Is we both just have this big, deep spot in our heart for every kid in West Virginia, to just help them kind of find their dream. Again, big thank you to him. Ollie Reed. Ollie, was our exclusive media provider. Ollie did a lot of other things as well while he was there. Again, kind of helping us fill in some gaps where needed. So props to Ollie. Ollie will have some material, some stories out. The good thing about Ollie is, he may not do a lot of stuff associated with that event, content wise, but he got to see so many kids. And I know, his perspective on this, he got to see so many kids that he can follow up with during season, and, kids that he probably hasn't seen yet, and kids that he can follow up with during season, and then really blow them up social media wise, and do a really good job of promoting a lot of those players that he may not have seen before. Carter Anderson come in and helped us. We hired Carter to the player check-in. Carter helped with the player check-in, got the jerseys out. Carter ended up running the clock for us some. Carter ended up coaching a team part of the day. And again, those are Carter's parents are the ones that own Anderson Court and have the Anderson Court Fall League. They own the West Virginia Gold travel Puma circuit team here in West Virginia. Again, what a awesome kid, awesome guy that just come in, and he just loves basketball, and he's willing to just help us any way possible. So Carter, appreciate that. That's that's huge that to bring somebody in like that, that you can just throw in any situation and they're not uncomfortable and they can just roll with it. Last but not least, the bridge staff, folks, those of you and some of you, I know a lot of folks that was their first time at the bridge because they told me that. I know a lot of people were really really impressed. Um, you know, over the years, the people that run the bridge have done an absolute fantastic job of really constantly working on streamlining their processes, their procedures, and really building a good reputation for how they run things. Um, Chase Roby was the point man on that I dealt with as far as getting everything done in place. The insurance and the paperwork and the payment for the rent and all that stuff. And then, I got there the day of. We intended to do a walkthrough on Saturday. We didn't get to do that because we got busy trying to finish our shirts for the younger group, and we didn't get there. But I got there a little before 8 o'clock on Sunday, and I was met by one of their maintenance guys. He was more than gracious to make sure he opened the bay door next to the gyms. I could pull my car down there, unload the stuff real easy. They really went out of the folks at the front desk. We rented a hospitality room for all the staff and all the coaches to use, and they just went. Everybody that we worked with went totally out of their way to do what was best. Towards the end of the day, Darren Washington, who works there, former coach at one of the MEC schools, he works there. Come to me, asked me in the middle of the event, hey, is there anything you need me to do? And I end up asking him, hey, can we get some folding chairs out here to put around some of the courts for the college coaches? He never even hesitated. He just went and got them, did it. And then at the end of the day, we talked. I talked to Darren, and he was so gracious about us being there, and really it was good that the people that are running the place, every one of them gave us the feeling that they wanted us there. And when I talked to Chase, when I initially reserved he flat out told me, he's like, we want you here. We want your events here. Your brand is, your brand's reputation kind of precedes itself, and we want you here. We want your events here. And he didn't just say that, but his staff backed that up wholesale. Like everybody, even the people that really didn't know us. I mean, it's genuine. They genuinely wanted us there and treated us like we were, we were a true guest, and they wanted to be part of our team. So you just don't get that. I haven't had that anywhere. I haven't experienced that anywhere else. I helped my friend Zach Deal run an event up at Highlands, and I'm not running anybody down, but like, you didn't get that not even close to that level. The facility itself is equally nice, but to have people at that level of hospitality is really it's really not the norm. We left the Milan Park facility where we had this event the last 2 years, and I was really really hesitant to do that because I was comfortable there, but there were there was a management that did some things that made us a little bit uncomfortable, and so it was time to go. And I'm grateful that happened, that we got kind of felt like we weren't welcome there and got kind of pushed out. It was probably the best thing that's ever happened to this event, and it's probably the best thing that's ever happened to Blue Chips. We just, we're going to be able to do so many good things at the bridge. It's just it's crazy. So anyway, moving on. Some things that I want to talk about, and I've got a lot of it, and I'm at almost a half hour already. Let me look through my notes here. Some new stuff, and this is kind of new, old stuff. Again, I talked previously about back in March, we started working on a football division, if you will, of Blue Chips. That's getting a little closer to getting put in place. We're one phone call away from having our first event booked for that. That would be, ironically, like I just spoke of, the Highlands. We would book. That's where it will be if we can make that happen. That would be in December. But we're going to roll out some stuff on that. That's going to be kind of hot and heavy, obviously, with football season, kind of glaring over our shoulder, if you will. The most recent, most exciting thing is, I know those of you that are familiar with or are in the girls basketball world here in West Virginia, we've added Joe Albright to kind of be the figurehead for our girls basketball page here on Substack, and then as we develop, as we have with the boys, as we develop into kind of a bigger umbrella of not just coverage but also events, Joe will be a big part of that. He has a huge outreach with high school coaches and college coaches. Joe has worn a lot of hats in the world of sports, and has a good rapport with a lot of people. He's very well respected. He's been in the prep hoops world. On the girls' side, he was the guy. Just a few years ago, he was the man of girls basketball here in West Virginia, and probably just got burned out, had to step away for a bit, but he's ready to come back. He is. He's raring to go. So he's got a pile of content that he's trying to develop right now. The page is up and live. We have a couple, just little postings on there. If you want to go check that out, it's BlueChips Global Girls Hoops, and you can go over there and check that out. Search that up on Substack. There's also a corresponding Twitter page. There's a corresponding Instagram page. Go follow those. Check that out. Joe will be posting, obviously, probably every article he will cross post to Twitter on our girls' Twitter page. So that's, big news for us. That's a big step in expanding this brand. And I'm really excited because the girls basketball has just really, I feel like, there's certain parts of the state where volleyball is the thing, in the Mid-Ohio Valley, volleyball is king. Girls basketball takes a backseat, is like second tier. But there are pockets of, West Virginia where girls basketball is number one. But I just feel like nothing has done it justice for a long, long time. Joe's been the only person that's really ever seriously long-term promoted girls basketball and really pushed kids out there to coaches, really kind of promoted the sport itself in West Virginia. So we're so happy to have him aboard. That's going to be such a fun and good partnership, and he's going to serve the state very, very well, and the girls of the state, he's going to serve them very, very well. He's a genuine and very professional individual when it comes to his coverage and writing, and so we're very lucky, very, very lucky, and the parents and the girls basketball players in this state are very lucky that he has decided to join the team and be part of the Blue Chips family. a reminder on things we have coming up immediately. A couple of things actually that we need to talk about. Number one, the time is up on us where we have, so this will be our third year, also having a prospect team in the Anderson Court Fall League. Players, if you're interested in that, please reach out. There will be 4 dates. In each date, you will play 2 games. So it's 8 games total. It'll be $20 a player per day that you pick to play. So if you come in to play the 2 games on October 4th, let's say, it would just cost you $20 to come in, play those 2 games that day. That's it. There is a fee, a $300 fee that we have to pay to put teams in that. So, and then I try to take care of our coaches' travel that come there, unless I have to, it's an emergency and I have to be there to coach. Then that'll be a different situation. But anyway, so we will have that program up and running. Then we have the post-grad program that we run during the fall. That'll be much more in the months of late September, October, and then we'll do more of a post-grad program in November, December, January, February. We did that last year. Hard keeping the roster together, but it was very, very successful. Our goal was to play 20 games. I believe we got 20 games in. We won some of them. I don't know if we won half, but we were probably about 40%. And we were competitive in a lot of them that really surprised me. It's a good program. And I'm starting to see more and more of these pop up around the country to where it's not an academic program. It's just a basketball academy type of prep program where kids can be in their community college, take their classes, but also play basketball, get exposure, those types of things. So what we do is we will play in events where there are quote unquote jamborees that you can play in with lots of other prep programs or JUCO programs. You go in, play 3 or 4 games, and you call it a day. But the biggest thing that we do as well is we travel we travel on campus and play games against. Now, when we play the JUCO schools, we'll play the varsity guys. But when we play D3 schools, D2 schools, we'll play their JV teams, or we'll play their freshman group or the reserve group, whatever they call those folks. So, for instance, last year we had a group and we traveled to U-Pike, and we played U-Pike JV and Milligan JV. The great thing for our guys, we took 8 guys down there. They all got evaluated very heavily by the U-Pike staff and by the Milligan staff. And then that happens another time we did the same thing. We went to Davis and Elkins, and we had a try scrimmage with Davis and Elkins reserves and the Waynesburg freshmen reserves. And same thing. We had guys that were virtually offered the minute they left the gym there, by Waynesburg. And then we had quote unquote, from the Davis and Elkins staff, we had the best player in the gym, which was Isaiah Turner that day. They said he was the best player in the gym, out of the college freshmen and our guys. And so, that kind of exposure and recognition firsthand, it's really invaluable. It's very, very invaluable. And, there's just guys that really, really shine, and they really can, really do such a good job in those moments playing. We just want to give them a platform and go from there. We have bigger aspirations to have a full-blown post-grad program, but this is what we can do right now and be very, very effective. We're putting that together. We're putting together more information, as we speak. We've got a flyer out there on Instagram, flyer on Twitter There's a prospect questionnaire registration flyer that you can go to the website bluechipsglobal.net. Go to our website, go to the um, academy/postgrad page on the website, and you can access that form, submit your information. We'll reach back out to you and find out what we can do together. So a lot of stuff that, a ton of stuff going on this fall. So we have all of that. We also have Isaiah is having the middle school exposure camp in, and I'll have to pull up our website here in just a second to find the and you'll have to bear with me here, but so the first ever this will be our first, let's see, events here. So our first ever middle school event. And it's so funny because I had somebody ask me yesterday, I thought you weren't going to do this many events, or I thought you weren't going to do middle school events. And, the answer is we didn't expect it. It just happened. I don't know why. I don't know how. But we got so many requests from different people to do these type of events, and they've backed it up. So far they've backed it up. Isaiah will be running this solo on his own. I will not be able to be there, but it's August 15th. He's already sold this out, I believe. I believe this event is already sold out. So it's going to be at Lincoln County High School, which I believe that would be Hamlin, West Virginia. 12 to 4. It'll be all three middle school grades, incoming classes of 2031, 2032, 2033. Again, that's August 15th, this weekend. It was $75 for 4 hours. That's an incredible price. He's going to do a King of the Court champion, 3-on-3 champ, MVP of the camp for each class, knockout champion, 5-on-5. So a lot of really, really fun stuff for middle school guys to go in and compete at. Isaiah's done, again, this is his baby. I have had zero input on this event. He's done this all on his own, and it's going to be incredible. And like I said, I believe it's sold out already. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I know he was just 4 or 5 spots from being sold out just like 2 days ago. So, yeah, good thing there. And then we're going to also, speaking of middle school, so we're going to have that. That's this weekend at Hamlin, Lincoln County High School, and shout out to those guys in Lincoln County. And I can't think of all your names right now, but the incredible bunch of guys who love basketball and like us, they're very passionate about growing basketball in West Virginia, and not just in Lincoln County. They really have a big heart for just growing the game in general, and they're very active with doing a lot of stuff out of season. So kudos to them, and they reached out and wanted Isaiah to run that event there, and it's going to work out beautifully. So kudos to that. That's going to be a great event. Fast forward to November 1st, and we're going to expand the West Virginia warm-up. And again, this is an event. This will be the 3rd year. I've done everything for 3 years, it seems like. So this will be the 3rd year for the West Virginia warm-up. The first year we had it at Fairmont Senior High School. Last year we had it at Anderson Court. And it's an event that we just haven't pushed and promoted really, really hard. But I know also with the response that we got for the Hoop Summit and the number of people that said, well, we can't make it then, but we'll come to your next one. Or the kids that have reached out and, that didn't get invited to the Hoop Summit that said, can I get an invite to something? and they all going to get an invite to this. So we're expecting it to grow as everything else has. We'll probably promote it a little bit harder. We'll take a max of like 50 kids, in just high school in general. But we are going to. What I was getting at is we're going to add. Our plan as of right now is to add a middle school division to this West Virginia warm up, as well as high school girls, middle school girls divisions to that. We might even, if we can make it work somehow, gym, as far as the gym time goes, we might even look at adding elementary school kids. So, and then again, this will be in different times, different courts, this will be split up. High school will be together, middle school will be together, elementary will be together. Boys and girls will be separate. So it'll all be separated. If I can make it work without pulling all my hair out and trying to figure this out, we'll make it work. So that event will happen. It will be at the bridge. It'll be November 1st and maybe October 30th and November 1st. We may do Saturday and Sunday both. I'm not 100% sure yet, but it'll be Sunday for sure. And again, that's the West Virginia warm up. And then let's not forget also, we have the Blue Chips Global Interstate Fall Shootout, which is in September. And that's at Cabell Midland High School. Shout out to Coach Woomer down there for helping us make this happen. It was totally his idea that, to have an event down there, and it's badly needed in that area to have some events. Just not a lot going on down there other than bracket sports. So kudos to those guys for making this happen. Got 3 teams that are actually paid and registered. I know we've got a little bit here before. We got a little better than a month and a half before this event happened. So probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll see an uptick of that. But we do have 3 or 4 teams that are already paid, registered in there. We're going to take a max of 12, I believe. And again, that's September 19th at Cabell Midland High School. Players, parents, if this is something that you're interested in, let your coach know. The registration is on our website. Again, that's at bluechipsglobal.net, not .com, .net. That's you go to the events page. All of this stuff is on there. You can literally register your team and pay the deposit to hold your team spot right here on our website. You can submit your roster, the whole shebang. So players, parents, if this is something you want your team to participate in, let your coach, let your athletic director know, hey, this is an event we want to be in. What do we got to do to make it happen? If it's a fundraising issue or something like that, we'll work with you up until the day of to get it, to help you get it done. Again, this is going to be something else that we're going to probably continue to do. It seems like there's enough appetite for this. Love to do one on the girls' side as well, but probably won't happen this year. So the team camp, Blue Chips Global Interstate Fall Shootout, September 19th at Cabell Midland High School. I believe they have 3 gyms. That'll be a max of 12 teams, and we'll run it off. They'll have SSAC officials, concession stand, the whole deal. So it'll be a reasonable price to get in, and it'll be a good event. It'll be a great event. The people down there at Cabell Midland are very, very excited. So we're looking forward to that. We've had schools reach out from all over the state and ask us to come and host events. We just talked to one of the MEC schools. They have talked to us about running an event. We've had lots of schools, high school and college, reach out to us about hosting an event at their facility. As we are super duper gracious for for people reaching out and asking us to do that. But it is virtually impossible to do that many at once. So maybe next year we'll most likely expand it and run run a good bit more team events and individual events. So we're looking forward to that. But again, last but not least, the team camp, September 19th. Get signed up for that. If you need more information, you can call me 304-771-3488. And you can call Isaiah. You can shoot us an email, whatever you need to do. So, but folks, it's been, how long have we been on here? Too long. 45 minutes. I won't take any more of your time. Let's wrap this up. That's a lot of stuff. And I apologize to everybody, paid subscribers and the rest of our subscribers for the lack of content. This has been a crazy 6 weeks for us. An absolute crazy 6 weeks. But we are getting back in the swing of things. I am getting back to, maybe even this week, getting back to having guests on the podcast. We will start having more content regularly, written content, video content, the whole thing. So a lot of good, exciting stuff. So we're just right now 2 people, soon to be 4 when we roll out the football and the girls basketball. It's going to be it's going to be a big end, last 4 months of 2026 for the Blue Chips brand. And like I said, I want to thank everybody that's helped us get here. I feel like this is kind of a beginning, another beginning to another stage, of events and things that we have coming up. So very, very exciting. Again, I can't thank everybody enough for hanging in there. You paid subscribers, I appreciate you hanging in there and believing in us. And we've tried to make this stuff really, really reasonably priced to where you don't feel like if we did have a stretch where we didn't have much content, that you didn't feel like you were losing out too much, because I knew that would be the case at times, when we hit some growing pains. So appreciate everybody's patience. And like I said, hanging in there. We're going to reward you for that, for some extra stuff here down the stretch, and talk a lot about a lot of kids, a lot of teams, a lot of events, and just get right with it. So an exciting time here and an exciting time for basketball in West Virginia. And so we're looking forward to it. And thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow.